Hola, ¿cómo están, my compañeros? I came across this article about Representative Ruben Gallego trying to take away the veteran benefits from individuals who protested at the Capitol on the 6th, and it just really just made me want to dig into him and really discover why he feels like this and why he's taking such an absurd position, in my personal opinion. I feel like it's an absurd position. So looking at this guy, Mr. Gallego's 114th Congress, I think he's been reelected a couple times. He's out of California. And this is him 2016 at a Hillary Clinton rally. So it kind of lets you know what team he's on. It's some of the positions he takes, Mr. Ruben Gallegos. You can tell he wants gun buybacks, Obamacare, Planned Parenthood. He actually was a Marine. He served in the Marine Reserves, and he claims to have deployed with the 325th, Lima 325th, which was a Marine Corps unit which suffered the largest amount of casualties of any unit since Vietnam. They suffered 45 casualties. Any Marine Corps unit, I believe. Maybe any unit in the entire military. Regardless, they lost 45 soldiers. And now Mr. Ruben Gallegos is tying himself to that event. I dug into that a bit, and that's a different story. But if he is, I think there's a bit of false valor there, but I'm not going to assert that absolutely. It's all just supposition. This is all just supposition. I'm all just supposing, and this is all just, what if? So I'm just trying to point out Mr. Gallegos. He's obviously a Democrat. He plays for the blue team. He's really, really trying to have the communist takeover coming from the West Coast. He's trying to remove rights and liberties from the populace and give them to the central government. There's trying to be not only a transfer of wealth, but a transfer of liberties currently going on. And it's being conducted by individuals like this who have the audacity to strip Second Amendment rights from veterans for simply protesting. Well, at the same time, they've supported all-out riots all throughout the year, 220 plus riots. Regardless, so I found Mr. Gallegos' personal email address and I did a bit of searching. The weird thing is that I came across this WikiLeaks document that was just released yesterday that has his personal email address on it. And so I clicked it, obviously. I was like, what the heck is that? And it turns out to be a surrogate report by person. Surrogate report by person. So I was like, a surrogate? What is a surrogate? I had to double check. A surrogate is a stand-in, a proxy, like a Manchurian candidate. Like this is a list of Manchurian candidates. No, but I was like, no, it probably is not. But then I really wanted to figure out whether it was an official government document or whether it was something else entirely. And of course, I'll include all of the links, and so you can check it out for yourself. But I came to the bottom, and it says confidential information. Do not distribute. Copyright 2000 to 2016. Salesforce.com. All rights reserved. Salesforce.com. Okay, we'll remember that name. Let's take a look at this list real quick. Let's see if Miss Pelosi's name is on it. So they have the states, they call them accounts. And in each account, they have a number of people that they have Manchurian. This is almost like Salesforce. The people, they're all of the puppets that work for Salesforce. And you'll see who Salesforce is. That's not a small company. It's the largest employer in San Francisco. It's one of the probably benefited the most from this new legislation. It is not. This is something that really indicates some sort of no, I don't want to say conspiracy, but some sort of cooperation between private business and public entities or public figures, and a little bit of string pulling. You'll see Miss Feinstein's name is on here. You'll see Miss Pelosi's name is on here. Mr. Schumer's name is on here. I'll include the link to this. And the interesting thing is that it has vetting status, pass, vetting status. So that means, to me, that means that they got them. Like, they got them by the scruff. They've been vetted. They got them. We got these people. These are the people that we call whenever we need to make things happen. And they're not all U.S. representatives or U.S. senators. Some of them are archaeologists. Some of them are just members of certain committees. They're just general influencers in different states that Salesforce. So let's check out Salesforce. Salesforce has these surrogates. Those are all Salesforce surrogates working in the federal government. So who owns Salesforce? Oh my goodness. Salesforce is an American cloud-based software company headquartered in San Francisco. It provides customer relationship management services, and it also is one of the largest customer relationship management services providers in the country. In 2020, Fortune magazine ranked Salesforce at number 6 on the list of 100 best companies to work for. Doubtful, man, doubtful. And you'll see why. Interesting enough, thanks to President Donald Trump, Backpage was shut down. You know who was responsible for running Backpage? Salesforce. In March 2019, Salesforce, the same company that has all those surrogates in the federal government, was sued by 50 anonymous women, survivors of sex trafficking, abuse, and rape, and they allegedly, Salesforce profited from knowingly facilitating sex trafficking on the website Backpage. This is a company in San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi's district, it's the largest employer. Oh, it also did it had a bit of tax avoidance. But right here, this is a tweet from today. And Mark Benioff, he is the CEO of Salesforce, so perhaps he is the slave driver of all of those proxies, all of those substitutes, all of those surrogates. He says, Salesforce is now San Francisco's largest private employer with 8,400 employees in the city. Read about our commitment to growth in San Francisco beyond in today's San Francisco Chronicle. And I'm thinking that perhaps he's being able to hire so many people because of so much federal money that he's getting. He hires money. He probably gets money to hire. You know, he's probably getting quite a bit of federal money right now, considering San Francisco just got one of the largest bailouts out of any city, probably in the history of life. So Mark Benioff owns Salesforce. Mark Benioff has the surrogate list of congressmen, state representatives, sustainability directors, former mayor of Atlanta. So those are all people that he can call whenever he needs. So who is this Mark Benioff? This is Mr. Mark Benioff. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm probably not. Mr. Mark Benioff looks like the rest of them, if you know what I mean. And sure enough, he has been using his money during the Hillary Clinton era. He was throwing his money at the Hillary Clinton Foundation, or at the Clinton Foundation, or at the Hillary Super PAC in this particular instance. It says in this paragraph that he gave her $25,000 to speak, but prior to that, he had given her $225,000 to speak. So that's over $250,000. And what did Miss Hillary Clinton do in response, or what did she do in order to get this money or for this transaction? She took it upon herself. You know, they had a conference and she spoke. She had a prepared script that she read. That's what they do for their speeches. All they do is they go up and they're paid to read these scripts. And it's all just acting. It's all just a show until they say a little joke at the end. And she said, and it says, but this is a WikiLeaks document as well. It says, but being at tech conference, she couldn't but joke about social media, noting the Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff's shoes have their own Twitter account. Clinton asked, what do you think? Should I start a Hillary Clinton pantsuit? At Hillary Clinton pantsuit? And so she referenced his shoes, and as soon as she referenced this super rich man's shoes, I was like, oh my goodness, please do not let them be red shoes. And bam! They're red soled. They're absolutely, man, I'm not a theorist or anything along those lines. I just generally follow the money and the history. And if you do so, you'll come to find out that these shoes, these leather shoes, these red leather shoes, they have a story behind them. And I was like, man, dude, those shoes, those are the exact shoes that she just referenced. They got all that money. Backpage, he got in trouble for sex trafficking, all of this stuff, it just falls in line. And so I was like, I thought to myself, who makes these shoes? And it says, thank you, Louis Vuitton World, for my cloud walkers. Yeah, he's walking on clouds. I bet he's walking on something. I'm walking on the flesh of an innocent child. And I included this picture just because I feel like it was interesting how they had some sort of medical symbolism going on. I'm not sure exactly what was occurring during the conference. But this is the individual that actually makes the shoes. The company, stake to Italy's Angelini family, stake values luxury footwear brand known for its red soles at $2.73 billion. And the owner of this company is a Franco-Egyptian. And it's interesting how they denote Franco-Egyptian, because the Franco-Egyptians are the gatekeepers to Egyptian knowledge. The Franco-Egyptians are responsible for the Rosetta Stone, which is like, the Franco-Egyptians are responsible for allowing a bit of the secret knowledge to go to the populace, but the bulk of the secret knowledge is maintained by this culture. And so Mr. Christian Louboutin, Franco-Egyptian, founded his eponymous brand. I had to look that one up. Founded his eponymous brand in Paris in 1991 with a small salon. Oh yes, I bet he just started. He was just so hard up. And this is him. Oh my goodness, very nice man. His shoes are known for the red soles. Their red soles are what they are known for. The red soles of these shoes. And his company is worth over $2 billion, and you've never even heard of it. I've never heard of it. And so I think to myself, wow, I bet he is very well known amongst some very rich people. And as it says here, his stiletto brand, known for its shoes, red soles, is selling a 24% stake in investment to an investment firm controlled by Italy's Angelini family, in a deal that values the French company at 2.3 billion euros, which is $2.73 billion. And so I think the deal gives one of the most recognized names in luxury footwear an infusion of capital to expand its operation, particularly in China. So, I mean, these things just line up. What's really interesting, if you look up the Masonic history in China, they are still very strong in China. There's still Masonic lodges in Hong Kong and throughout China. And these red shoes got me scratching my head. And lastly, this is a picture of Mr. What was his name? Louboutin, Christian Louboutin. And I included this picture because of the duality, the male-female duality, the androgynous super being, and how they're all about symbolism. One of the things that I did not mention, I did fail to mention, is that this sample report, which I'll include the link to, or it says sample report, it's not a sample report at all, it says it's confidential. I wonder if Wiener's on here, I'm going to have to look that up. But generated by Mr. Oliver Whitney of the Democratic National Committee. Mr. Oliver Whitney is a rabbit hole in and of himself, I guess you could say. He is affiliated with an organization, a maritime organization that has lots of holdings in the Caribbean. And they have started a 501c3 in order to get money from the Caribbean, or from the populace, or for a source, a bank account to be donated for federal money to go directly to some sort of Caribbean operation because of a hurricane that happened in some rich person's island. If you follow Mr. Oliver Whitney, I think that all of these individuals all work together, and they are very well aware of how much money they make by being a bureaucrat and by keeping their mouths shut. As long as they keep their mouths shut. It's all shocking. This report right here is the one that I found. It includes whether they're homosexual. It includes what languages they spoke, whether they're military. It doesn't say yes or no for homosexual. It just says 0 or 1. So 1 would be, I would say yes. 0 would be no. Kristen Assignma, U.S. Representative out of Phoenix. And then it has all of their email addresses, and I believe that these are direct email addresses and phone numbers for Dianne Feinstein and Nancy Pelosi. Look at California. California is absolutely co-opted. California needs to be cleaned out with a blowtorch. And it needs to be restored to its rightful beauty. as the gem of the United States. We shall see. Well, Eric Swalwell, of course, he's going to be on here. It doesn't list, I guess it doesn't list the contact info for national representatives. It only lists contact info for state and local reps. It's interesting, though, because it had Mr. Gallegos. Maybe it just doesn't have all of them. Or maybe the Lord just put that one on there so I could discover this. This is a Wikipedia. This document was released on Wikipedia only yesterday. And then I happened to come across it. And I think that it is very revealing because Salesforce just got busted for sex trafficking. Salesforce is a tax evading company. Oh, man. And what got me is the word surrogate. The surrogate report by person. Surrogate means who are our puppets? Where are the puppets? Oh my goodness.